Our guy, Nick Underhill, neworleans.football, joins us to break it all down. Nick, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. So go ahead and tell us who the starting quarterback is.
Mm-hmm. Man, I don't know. It's a tough decision. I want to hear you guys. Who do you guys got? Let's start with that.
All right, so I'll give you my breakdown, okay? They both have moments. They both kind of, and Matt and I were just talking about it during the break. You can kind of flip the preseason games, and it's kind of the same thing, right? Tyler came in the first game, looked really good in the second half of a preseason game. Same thing for Spencer in this last game. Here is why I think that Spencer Rattler should be the starting quarterback. This is going to be an off-schedule team. When you look at the troubles they've had on the interior of their offensive line, it is going to be chaotic. And I think, now this isn't fair necessarily to Tyler Shuck, but Spencer Rattler plays better with chaos around him than Tyler Shuck does. And I just think there's going to be a lot of chaos. And so I think the race is tight. I think they both give you something. They offer something that could help you win games. But I think because of what I'm expecting to be in front of Spencer Rattler or whoever the Saints quarterback is, I would go with Spencer Rattler because I think he can make more off-schedule plays than Tyler Shuck.
Yeah, I think that the best thing that Spencer does, I think, is that fearlessness too. Like he would stand in the middle of a highway and get hit by a semi to get a pass off. Like he'll just totally stretch out that torso, just take a big hit in the ribs and fire the ball in there. And I think that's the best thing he does. You know, I think one thing that's going to help that offense, like when Eric McCoy's out there, like it's going to look way different. And I'm not making a public defense of Cesar Ruiz here, but there was a lot of stuff I've seen on like social getting blamed on him, and then when you go through the film, it's like actually some kids like making a lot of mistakes. So I think when McCoy gets out there, that helps quite a bit too. I still believe it's the same thing I said last week, and I thought this game was a further evidence of it. They very, very, very clearly want Tyler Shuck to win this battle. Like they give him the two receivers. They let him, finish the whole half. Like they absolutely want him to be the guy. I don't know which direction it goes. I think if I were making the decision, I would probably come up with a plan right now where I would give Spencer the first 4 games and let it go from there. My expectation would be, and I'm speaking as if I'm their coach, not like myself. Like they drafted Chuck. They want Chuck to play. They want him to get most of the games. They want to evaluate him. They think he has a chance to be their future. They made that decision with Rattler on their team. Like they want it to go that way. I think they'd be open-minded to new information. Obviously, my plan right now, if I were the coach of the team, I would say, all right, I'm going to get Spencer, Arizona, San Fran, Seattle, and Buffalo, knowing that those games are probably going to be really, really hard. And at the end of it, that could be something where you're 0-4 and completing 52% of your passes, have twice as many interceptions as touchdowns, and you are in a very bad spot. I would give those to Spencer knowing that my guy is staying clean from that. He has a chance to come in and maybe not go through that gauntlet and have a clean start in week 5. Maybe some of the noise is silenced. But on the other end, if Spencer goes through that and he excels, there you go. You got great information and you keep him in there and you let him keep rolling. But that would probably be my plan at the beginning of it. I really do think it's a coin flip. I hate to be a prisoner of the moment. The deciding factor for me would be basically what you were saying. Spencer is better in chaos, and in chaos we've seen Tyler Shuck flip the ball away, and we've seen him do that in a training camp practice. And I thought that was his worst moment of camp. And if you go to his college film, there's one of those where he kind of puts it away and it turns into a pick six. It's a thing he does. I would assume they've reconciled that in their mind that this isn't a huge deal right now. I think it's one of those things where if you don't fix it, it ends up defining who you are as a quarterback. But they must think that they can fix it. But for me, that would be the deciding factor right now. It just feels like Spencer's more in a spot where he can kind of handle some really nasty, tough, ugly stuff, and Shuck kind of flicked the ball away, and that's. It's not a break point for me right now. It's way too early to be talking like that. But it's something that's on that list of things that's you can't let this keep happening. That has to change immediately. And we've seen it twice now since he's been here.
Well, Rattler has shown to be better with chaos around him, but Shucks certainly hasn't shown that he's better than Rattler in a pocket with a clean pocket. I think they've both been pretty good at going through their reads. Their completion percentage has been pretty good. They've run the offense, but things are going to break down. We just don't have the personnel, the roster, to have it look clean every single play. Nobody does. So I guess I want to kind of go back to like what's the basis of thinking like they want Shuck to be the quarterback? Why do you think that they want to push that? And I guess the statement of like they desperately want him to be the starting guy.
Well, I would erase the word desperately, but I mean, on April 25th, 2025, at 6 p.m., they had Spencer Rattler on their roster, and they decided at 6:45 p.m. to draft Tyler Shuck and said, this is our guy. And that's the 40th pick in the draft. And you could have used that pick to draft a wide receiver that you need. You could have used that pick to draft a tight end that you need. They decided, no, this guy is the guy that's going to give us a better chance to win, knowing that Derek Carr was leaving their building. So basically, they were looking at it right there at that moment, like, who's going to give us the best chance of starting a game? And I think, that's my interpretation of it. I mean, I think they decided that they could get a better player than Rattler. And, you don't draft a left tackle if you feel good about your left tackle. And I know it's a little bit of a different position, but, they could have very easily made a decision. Hey, we're going to get a wide receiver to support Spencer. We're going to go out. We're going to get a veteran backup, a non-threatening veteran backup to put behind him that can, maybe help mentor this room or whatever, and go that way. But they made the decision that we're going to go all young guys. One of these guys is going to win. And I think every single thing we've seen it's kind of been stacking the deck toward giving him the more advantageous situations to succeed in the preseason. And if they didn't have a lean towards Tyler Shuck, I would, from my role where I would have to sit back and say, like, what are you guys doing? Like, why would you draft this guy and not try to foster an environment for him to succeed if you identified him as the quarterback that's going to fit your system?
I think if they knew Derek Carr was not going to be here, then that leaves Spencer Rattler in your roster with Jay Kaner. You have to pick somebody, right? You got to pick somebody. You're not gonna pick somebody in the 7th round. You got to pick a good quarterback to fill and get more talent because you don't really know. But I would think if they would push it, they would have more of the reps, like skewed toward Shuck. Like he would have gotten the majority of the reps, right? I feel like it's been pretty even. It's been really even in the preseason games, at least. We were talking about it, like the production from Rattler and Shuck was like mirror images of each other. I think game 1 and game 2. I thought Shuck and Rattler, when they both started the games, I thought they did some worked the offense well. Good completion percentages, made all the throws they were supposed to. And then when they also came in as a second guy in each of the games, they threw for more yards. They each got 2-minute situations. They had more opportunities. They each threw a pick. They each had an explosive play. Like I think they were really mirror images of each other. So I think they've done a good job. And I think we can all agree that as to this point, now they're going to, whoever the quarterback is going to have time, they got to go win games. But to this point, quarterback is not the issue on this team or for this offense. So tell me, what have you seen? Where can they improve? Is there improvement to be made with this offense from a protection standpoint, from a running game standpoint, run blocking?
Yeah, well, real quick, I don't disagree. I think that it's been a pretty fair battle. I just think there's a couple little things in there that lean toward that, getting the 2-minute drill against the Rams in the joint practice at the end. Spencer didn't get those reps. He's on the sideline next to Haener.
Mm-hmm.
Going through practice, it's about 30 more passes for 30 more reps probably for Shuck. I could give you the exact number, but later. But he was up a little bit, but it's a slight. There's just a slight little all right, we're going to give him an Olave and Rashid, and we're not going to give those guys the Spencer. But we'll see what happens in game 3. I mean, I think they need to get a dress rehearsal. Bigger issues on offense, man. It's that interior line, right? I mean, that's not good. Cunning going out isn't good. I think that's a huge issue. I mean, it's a turf toe injury. Rookie year, he had the same thing. He misses 11 games with it. I mean, that's a giant human with recurring foot problems. It's at least something that's a little bit worrisome. I think Caesar needs to play way better. I think I think Banks has been awesome though. He went against Walker and what is it now, Hines Allen 6 times in that game in pass pro, won all 6 reps. Had a really good game there. I think Fuaga was a little bit messy, but I mean, I just think their offense is underpowered, just kind of overall. And Olave dropping that pass is weird. That's not something I'm going to expect going into the season. But, I think there's some little details and stuff too that they gotta kind of work out. And, it's just been, I don't know, it was just a very flat performance, I thought, coming out into that game. And I thought, I think it's a fair criticism that in the post-game speech, they played the video on Twitter, and Kellen Moore's like, we got to be ready to come out here and play at noon. Well, you practice at 6 p.m. every day leading into the game. I don't know, move that up a little bit. I think those are little things that they got to, work out, and they'll go through and figure out and get evidence and, learn and adjust and all that stuff. But I think just overall, there is probably going to be a little bit of a learning process for everybody in that building going through year one.